Today's topic is high school math. When am I ever going to use this? All the teachers across the country every year get about the same question. When am I ever going to use this stuff? That's really not the question. There's two related questions. One is, where is this stuff used? Now, that you cannot argue against that. This stuff, algebra, trig, pre-cal, all that kind of things, it's used. The better question is, if I have to in the future, if it really comes down to it, will I be able to use this because I have some skills, I have some knowledge? So try not to focus on yourself, but it is used. There's algebra and geometry and trig and everything else used in science, engineering, business, politics, graphs, all kinds of population trends, etc. There's all kinds of things that have to be used with math. It's not a question of whether it's used. I've got a whole book of formulas at home that has just page after page to describe this world, how to use variables, all the relationships between all those variables. It is used. The biggest thing comes down to work. When you ask me, well, when am I ever going to use this? Let me translate. I don't really want to do the work, so if I can find some way to get out of it, then I'll just not have to do it. Let's see. If I can prove that I'm never going to use this ever in my life in any situation, then I won't have to study it. I won't have to do the work. That's not the point. Right now in high school, get a good education. It all comes down to work, doing your own work, not just copying the answers out of the back, not copying off somebody else, not trying to use the internet, all that. Just do your work step by step, hard work. Teacher will help you. It'll be okay. Don't cheat. The thing about math is that it solves problems, all kinds of problems. How to quantify, how far, how fast, how often, how much, money involved, rates, times, pressure, all that kind of stuff. Math puts a number, puts logic to it. It has a way of solving problems. I wish there was just a cable. I wish there was a cable that you could just plug into a teacher's ear and just download it to yourself, press a button, and the file transfers. That'd be great, but it doesn't. We have to teach. We have to do things at the board or in groups or video a little bit here and there, cooperative learning, all those kind of things, so that you get the answers, so that you get the ideas, all right? There is no cable. It comes down to effort. There's always a good balance. There's a good balance. We can give you lots of homework. I've heard stories over the years where teachers just overload math, do these 50 problems, or on the other hand, won't give you anything, because I think there's a good balance between homework and teaching. You have to do some on your own because you have to get it. It's all about you. Teachers care about it. We want you to learn. We want you. We would be happy for you to learn. Come in before school, after school, all those kind of things. Let me show you. This is good stuff. Good balance. Do you trust the teacher? Do you trust the teacher? Not just about math, but about everything. All these things. Grammar and English and reading and social studies and all those kind of things. Do you trust the teacher? We are here to help you get educated. This isn't going to harm you. This is for helping you become a better citizen here in our own country. So trust us. It will pay off. Well-educated people, there's a history, and there's no problem. Well-educated people serve better, have better income levels. Not that it's all about income, but your life will be much better. Even if you're never using it. Even if you don't think you're ever going to use it. You're in a classroom with 20, 25 people. Let the others, maybe they're going on to science. Maybe they're going on to engineering. Maybe they're going on to architecture, things like that. Don't get in their way. Don't drag the class down. Let them get the formulas, the ideas, all those things, the equations, stuff like that, even if you're not going to listen. High school, we understand. High school is a little bit limited, especially maybe small, rural communities. There aren't that many teachers, aren't that many classes in the schedule. You can't take everything. Hang in there for college. Hang in there for college. You get to pick the college. No, sometimes maybe parents do, but you get to pick the college. You get to pick your major. You get to specialize. That's great. That's the fun part. Hang in there for high school. Get a good education, algebra, geometry, trig, stuff like that. Education in the 80s. Here's one reason why you should study, get a good education. Farmers in the Midwest in the 80s had a terrible, terrible economy. Prices were down, expenses were up, interest rates were high. A lot of them lost their farms. Well, then what do you do? If you only know farming, then what? You're stuck. What happens is you go back, you get re-educated, you train a new technical skill, those kind of things, then you'll be all ready to succeed. Homework's critical. To me, it's just critical. You got to practice. You got to put your mind to it. You got to solve those problems. No one else is going to do it for you. What happens if, let's give you a situation. Suppose I give you 2 hours of homework every night. 2 hours every night. You are used to 2 hours, night in, night out. Along comes a situation, I give you 1 hour. 1 hour. Whoa, Mr. Price, you are a great teacher. This is wonderful. Now let's suppose you're usually used to doing no homework. You are used to just sloughing off, skipping it, not doing the homework, teacher. Then I give you 1 hour homework. Oh, I can't get 1 hour. It's all a matter about how your attitude is towards it. The attitude I got from my folks working hard, get at it, get it done. Don't put it off. Don't procrastinate. The hardest thing about college is the fact that you have to be on your own. Time management. Are you going to meet the deadlines? Are you going to get it taken care of? Are you going to put it off so at the last minute? Give it your best shot. Don't wait. Get into a good habit. Good habit. I've heard national speakers say, you know, math should be a little struggle. You should be struggling. It's not easy, but you shouldn't be too, overwhelmed. I mean, we don't want you to bury you. Get at it. Ask the teacher for help. It should be a struggle. That's all right. In the 80s, when I first started teaching, I thought there was a math gene. Maybe you still think this is true also. There's a math gene, and I just don't have it. Well, there is no math gene. Now, some people are gifted. Some people really understand. I mean, right away. There's always a kid or two in class like, wow, the rest of us are going to have to struggle. You're going to have to get at it. You're going to have to take a look at it, come back to it later, maybe several times until not the first time. There is no math gene. Good balance, struggling, adjusting, coming back, asking questions. You know, if I knew all of you in the class were going to be carpenters, if all of you were going to be the same business, whatever skill it is, we'll take carpentry. All we would study is the things for carpentry. Well, that's college. We'll do measuring, we'll do angles, we'll do volume, we'll do all kinds of calculations, maybe with money and budgeting, and how much it's going to cost for tile, ceiling, okay. But you're not all going to be carpenters. How are we going to be preparing you for all these things if you're all different? Well, we have to teach you in general terms, general things. We don't know what you're going to be. Math is like a muscle. You go into the weight room, you work out the muscles. Some athletes do certain kinds of muscles. Other athletes, volleyball, track, cross country, football, all those wrestling. There's different muscles you maybe highlight. But you don't just lift weights to become a weightlifter. I mean, very few do. It's kind of like math. I've heard kids the first year teaching on, well, I don't need to learn this stuff. I'm not going to be a math teacher. Well, it's more than just math teachers. It's all kinds of jobs. And if you want to pursue them, and by the way, it's not just about jobs. It's about a life. Educated life, being able to solve, work, function in society. If you were all the same thing, if we do the same thing, but you got to be able to be good at fractions, decimals, percents, graphing, all kinds of things about geometry, thinking, those kind of things. One of the things that drags me down as a teacher is students want to drag us down. Do we have to work today? Can't we take Friday off? Good luck with the job. Your boss saying, oh yeah, today's Friday. We'll still pay you, but you don't have to do anything. Doesn't work. You, students in general, try to tend to bring us down. Oh, I don't like this one. I never have, first year. Can we go outside today? Please, Mr. Price, can we go outside? It's so nice. We study better outside. Yes, we do. No, you don't. We're trying to bring you up. We're trying to get that good habits in there. Trying to get that education, those trainings, those specific skills. Don't try to, oh yeah, we don't really work that hard in the United States. Take a look at other countries, how far they go. In the 90s, it was the Japanese. Japan was taking over the United States. Oh my, they worked harder. They went to school longer. They put in more time and effort. It's like a muscle. You got to train it, got to work with it, repetition. I'm a father of 4 children. I know how much they wasted time when they were kids. Don't give me that you're too busy. I know you're busy with things, and I know some things are a challenge, but put the cell phone away. Put Facebook, Minecraft, whatever else. We got so many distractions. So many distractions. Get at the homework first, then comes the playtime. Simple idea. If we could cut back on the whining and complaining, come into a class, sit down, get at your work, ask questions, let the teacher talk, interact, instead of, can I go to the bathroom, can I do this, can I take it, get at it, get it done. Quit the whining and complaining. Get your book out, your paper, notebook, be ready to go, take notes, those kind of things. You're going to have competition. You're going to have competition for all kinds of things. When you get out of high school, you're going to have a competition for college scholarships. If the college will, admit you and get in, they've got scholarships. You're going to compete against all kinds of other people. When you get out of college, you got to compete for a job against other people. When you're in the real world, in the global society that we live in, you are going to compete against other countries. Are you going to be able to sustain? Are you going to be able to work hard? Think smarter, think better, work harder, those kind of things. It's all about competition. People like in Afghanistan or Iran, maybe even Cuba for that part, dictators in politics. They don't want you to be educated. They don't want you to think about science or politics or be able to read at a high level, or keep you illiterate, keep you not functioning. What do we want in the United States? We want everybody at a high level of education so that you can read, write, synthesize, draw, create, express yourself, compare. It's all about a good education. We like that. Other places maybe might not. You might not get it right the first time. In college, I had a roommate. One year, he was there for 3 years, and he went down to St. Louis for the last 2 years. He came back, and we, visited. He said he visited very large corporations in the St. Louis area, and the most common theme was, forget about what you learn in college. Forget all that stuff in college. And then he asked himself, forget all the stuff I learned in college. All those papers, all that problems, the tests, quizzes, projects, all those kind of things. Forget. Well, why did I do that? It shows that you're hardworking. It shows that you can compete at a high level. You're able to think, that you're able to be trained. Yes, you have to have a certain level of skills. There's no problem there. You have to be able to know something, do stuff. But you also are trainable. You also can follow directions and complete a task. It's all about being educated, consistent, working hard, good skills. Lastly, God has allowed us to improve on this. You look at the history of the world. Egyptians, their society, then we flow into what? The Greeks and the Romans. Quite interesting, especially the Greeks and their literature and math and science, and then the Roman Empire. Then we get through the Middle Ages, and then we get into Sir Isaac Newton and the whole things, and then America being born, and then we've got all kinds of technology and all kinds of improvements to society. God has allowed us to have a great society. We want to keep that going. We want to be able to solve problems. For instance, here's an example. You're baking something. You're baking something in the kitchen. Something needs 2 cups of flour. 2 cups. All you have is a 3/4 cup. You're missing. So you want 2 cups. You got 3/4 cups. Well, how many of those do you need? Do you just stop and quit? Do you just estimate? Do you figure? Problems come up. Problems have to be solved. Kind of like those muscles, like LeBron James. You know what? If LeBron James just takes and does nothing, eats Oreos and Ho-Hos and just sits on the couch, and you got to keep working. God has allowed us to have an incredible society. We want you to be better so that you can help your school, your church, your city, your state, your nation. We want the United States to be strong, but it takes organized, dedicated, hardworking, thinking citizens. And in high school, that takes effort. We would be glad to help you. Glad to help you. Just come in, quit whining, get to work. It'll pay off, and you'll find out that it's really not that hard.